but you still don't have abs. I've spent most of my life being the skinny guy. I really wanted to have that Greek god body and aesthetic look, having a chiseled midsection and adding on slabs of muscle mass has always been in the forefront of my mind. I always thought that these two goals were separate directions, they were like one on one and the other on the other end. Like, that was because when I worked out, even though I picked up some muscle, I ended up looking very doughy. And and then when I stopped, my body fat would drop along with my muscle, of course. And I thought that more cardio and more hit and more ab exercises were the thing to sort of get those chiseled abs. I also knew that these things could affect my goal to maximize muscle growth. Are you stuck, not sure how to get more visible abs and put on more muscle? Well, here's a few things that I learned that helped me along my journey. If you're skinny with no abs, most likely you are what people refer to as skinny fat. You have small arms, narrow shoulders, and back with a rounded midsection. Well, contrary to what people may think, this feels like the worst position to be in. Overweight people tend to pick up muscle faster, and skinny, defined people always have abs, so they can just eat and all the food just goes to muscle and they don't store any fat. Now, I don't know if this is true and it probably isn't, but as a skinny fat guy, this is how it can feel. What you don't know is that you aren't as disadvantaged as you think. With a few smart moves, you can speed up your progress and look great much quicker. A lot of the time, when I was not seeing progress, I kept telling myself, my genetics suck. I'm working my ass off and I'm not looking any better. I soon realized that the biggest problem was that I was just too extreme and impatient, which was getting me more inverse results. Um, I know that it might sound counterintuitive to some, but trust the process and you will get faster results. By not overdoing it and rather finessing the process and honing in on the skill, that will get you to your goal much faster. At least this was true for me once I sort of understood and applied this. So, the first thing I would fix is my caloric intake. If I have some fat around my midsection, then I do not need to be eating in a caloric surplus. However, you can either eat at sort of maintenance and over time, you'll be adding muscle to your frame, which would result in your body burning more calories at rest, which will then slowly put you in a deficit, right? And you would then start burning fat. Or the last option is if you can grab your belly fat, I'd recommend that you start eating in a slight caloric deficit just to speed up that fat loss for a bit. Um, but please don't go in too big of a deficit or too big of a surplus to try and maximize maybe muscle growth, when in reality, most of this surplus is going to be fat storage. Okay, eat enough protein. This is essential for any hopes to grow muscle, right? So I aim for 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, or around 2 grams per kilogram of body weight. I would then focus most of my efforts on strength training. You need to be putting on muscle. I know that this video is about getting your abs like more visible, but strength training is going to be your foundation for abs. You will use your abs in a lot of your exercises, and this will just strengthen and build the muscle tissue, like around your abdominal section. So trust me, you cannot be lifting heavy weights with good form and not be working your abs. So train Training them, like with any muscle, will result in them growing. And if you have a low enough body fat percentage from being in a caloric deficit for long enough, um, is this a must? Well, this will depend on if you have almost no fat and then you can still see and you still can't see them, then I would say definitely train them. But for the most part, getting those abs to show still comes down to bringing your body fat down. And that doesn't come from ab workouts. So the above recipe was what worked for me in achieving both goals of getting more muscle and getting more ab definition. Now, to this day, those are the levers that I adjust, tweak, and constantly make progress. This has allowed me to add muscle and not look doughy. You know, adding muscle, if done naturally, is not something that happens overnight. Um, and it was tough for me to accept this, you know. But once I did, once I trusted the process, my progress seemed to happen so much quicker. I honestly wish that I'd grasped this sooner, because it's not like I hadn't heard some of the stuff before. But with so much out there, it's hard to apply everything that we're told, and even know what to focus our attention on when we don't see the results that we want. I know that struggle, and this is why my goal is to help 100 men who have not been seeing any results and know that this is not from a lack of trying. I want to help you find your way. By the way, this assistance is completely free with no strings attached. So, obviously, this offer will expire. So, if that is you, then send me a message, comment, let me know that you are interested, and I'll be in touch. I'll see you tomorrow.